Welcome back to another sensational episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast, where the best time to listen is all the time. I'm one half of your hosts, Itchy, why am I so itchy, Zach Main, and I'm here with...
Alexander Beardsley, and boy oh boy do I like playing the clarinet.
And we're also joined by our second guest of all time, and in a row.
Yeah.
We're here with...
Riley, the hash-slinging slasher, Jerrolds.
Very good.
Boom, the hash-slinging slasher. You guys heard it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about Nature Pants and Opposite Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of them forgotten a little bit, but...
Well, yeah, like I was saying, both of these episodes, I mean, Opposite Day definitely stuck out a lot more to me, but I was thinking, like, Nature Pants, like, what even happens in that episode? Is it even good? And it's like, yeah, you know what? Every episode of SpongeBob is good.
Yeah.
That's what we've discovered thus far in our journey.
Therefore, every episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast is good, right? It's like simple math.
It's the transitive property. It's basic, algebra, basically.
Yeah. So, Riley, tell us about your love for SpongeBob. How much do you love the show and the character himself?
Well, my love started back in around third grade.
Third grade.
Yeah, so the very first episode that I remember and that really stood out was Ripped Pants. So,
nice. That's actually my favorite episode for sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even being almost 30 and married, I still love SpongeBob as if I were a third grader again.
It's good. It's like, I don't know, you just catch more. It's like I remember knowing what's going on, but seeing it again and like hearing it, I don't know, it's a new experience.
I think it's better as an adult, to be honest. It's a lot better as an adult.
Yeah, and pretty much every episode that we've done so far, like I noticed things that I never noticed.
Yeah.
And that's like a really cool thing. And especially in a lot of media, they constantly are making references to other things, and when you're a kid you're not really aware of these references. You just think they're like, okay, that's funny, whatever, or whatever. Like in this in Nature Pants, there's what I would say is an obvious Star Wars reference. I don't know if it really is that obvious, but I think it is.
That you wouldn't have got as a kid.
I never noticed it before this time watching it, which is really fun. And that's like what's so cool about cartoons is that, especially those that are made for kids, especially those made in the 90s, was they were made for us kids, right? But really they were made with the parents in mind too. Like you look at Rugrats or Rugrats is a big one. Like that is an adult show. It's basically like for the adults watching the kids who are watching the show.
Yeah, like the adults get into some stuff that people don't really notice. They focus on the babies, but then it's like, do you realize what the adults are doing
especially
right now?
In those early episodes? But and SpongeBob is the exact same. It's a lighthearted, positive children's show, but there's so much adult humor going on. And I don't even really mean adult humor, I just mean like there are jokes that are meant for the adults.
They have levels for sure.
Right. There's levels, right? Layers, if you will.
Like ogres, or onions, or
cakes.
Parfait. Oh, I was thinking parfait.
Cakes? No, ogres are not like cakes, Zach. Okay, so
speaking of which, not ogres, but old cartoons. I just wanted to shout out a fan who wrote into us at stripesweaterpodcast@gmail.com, Thomas, who was asking us, as some other things he was saying about how he likes the show and stuff. But then he was asking us if we're going to cover other things, do other podcasts. And really, we would like to talk about other stuff in some form, whether it be on the podcast or on some other thing.
We've
We've kind of
been-
talked about it before.
Yeah, we've thought about doing like YouTube reviews and things like that for movies and other shows, and honestly, I'd be totally game to take a deep dive into another cartoon. But I mean, just making the SpongeBob podcast is a lot of work.
Yeah.
That being said, we do want to do more. We enjoy this a lot, and Thomas, thank you so much for reaching out to us. Like seriously, that's awesome. You're the first person to do that. I don't know if you probably don't know that, but.
And he's a big Pokemon fan, so maybe we'll do a Pokemon thing soon.
To be honest, I'm a huge, like, Pokemon is like in my top 3 things.
There's a
in
new
life.
one coming out, so good time.
I love Pokemon so much. So Thomas, you know what? We're gonna talk about Pokemon somehow, some way. We're gonna get you some Pokemon content.
Hoot hoot.
And that being said, other people in other fans of the Striped Sweater podcast, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know what you like, what you dislike, and what you would like to see from us, because that's what this is all about, you know?
Yeah, Riley. What is something you would like to see, or like just some of your favorite 90s type stuff?
A lot of the things that I liked in the 90s were more like, I liked All That.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
And,
yeah, loved it.
And the Amanda Show, of course.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Dan Snyder. Big Dan Snyder fan, right?
I've-
Because he did create both.
I feel like
And then iCarly and
I
Drake
feel
and
like
Josh.
the Amanda Show, although we all watched it, you know, all people around our age, I feel like we all kind of forget about it. Like, I saw the joke with Penelope and like the meme of her saying meh, and I was like, I forgot that even existed, and that was a
Yeah.
huge part of my childhood. Like,
I used to log on to amandaplease.com sometimes.
I did too.
Yeah.
But I really liked it when she would prank call the old guy.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
That guy would like have a heart attack every time.
That show was so good, and
So
I'm
over the
like,
top.
I like totally forgot, because I totally forgot about that old guy until
Yeah.
just now, and it's like, oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of my
man.
favorites was always Block Bleaster.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's better. Much better. With young Drake Bell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they do like that skit is like reoccurring. Like,
Yeah.
they do like a sushi version of it, and like they do it. They always are opening up a new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good. I like Totally Kyle is really
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Oh man, we should do an Amanda
I
show.
know. Judge
thing.
Trudy.
Yeah, Judge
There's-
Trudy, the
there's so
dancing
much.
Bring in
lobsters.
the dancing lobsters.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh man. And what was the thing where they were in the hot tub and like midgets would come out? Sorry if that word is
Yeah.
not allowed anymore.
No, it was.
But that's what they said in the show. They were
Yeah.
like, bring out the midgets or something. And they would come out and bring them like a plate of spaghetti
Yeah.
to eat in the hot
Yeah.
tub. It's
That's
like
so
so
funny.
ridiculous.
Yeah. We could talk
Oh,
about all
man.
that in Amanda Show and stuff like a lot.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we
Like,
probably
we
should
could.
stop before we get another like hour and a half episode.
2-hour long episode. So good times reminiscing about 90s television for children. That's what we're here to do, because this is a Striped Sweater podcast. You better believe it. So let's jump in, right? Are you ready?
Aye, Alex.
I penned this shit.
And we're back.
Yeah, dog. We are. So, hey, Nature Pants.
Hey.
This hello. This episode aired on September 11th, 1999, 2 years before a major tragedy in the United States.
What was it?
Yeah, it's best just to forget it, even though people tell you never
Never.
forget. Yeah, it's true. It actually is pretty scary. I watched this documentary when I was in college about it. It was these French filmmakers who were inside the fucking tower when it came down. Fucking scary to watch. Seriously. Back to the happy stuff.
Yeah. Jet fuel.
This episode was 10 minutes and 47 seconds long. Storyboard artist was Mark O'Hare. Storyboard director was Paul Tibbett. It was written by those two gentlemen along with Peter Burns. Animation director was Sean Dempsey. Creative director.
Do you know who it is?
The Dry Mon.
Yeah, you do know.
The driest mon in all the
Derek.
lawn.
Yeah. Lon Milk. Right? Shout out to the farm. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Are you feeling it now? It's a Zelda thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Derek
Nerds.
Drymon.
Yeah.
The dude.
Great guy. I mean, seriously, though, he basically helped bring us our childhood.
He is to the world what Captain Crunch French Toast is to Leo's. He's the dude.
Captain Crunch French Toast?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yes.
They put Captain Crunch
Of course.
into French toast somehow?
Probably
Yeah.
around it. Like,
In and around.
Crust? Do they have berries inside the toast? Crunch
No.
berries?
No.
Well, that
they
would-
just have like pieces of the cereal.
Just standard Captain Crunch, no crunch berries. Is what
Right.
I
It's
am.
not Crunch Berries.
Gotcha.
It's Captain Crunch French Toast.
Just Captain Crunch. Well, when you said Captain Crunch French toast, I was thinking like, are you talking about French toast crunch?
No.
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 Could you do French toast crunch French toast?
Probably.
I think it could be done.
I don't know if Leo's can afford the special cereal. They probably just make it. They don't buy actual Crunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just Captain.
Anyways, we start this off with a shot of the camera on the grill, right? And we see
Well-
a patty on the grill, and you can see SpongeBob above.
Yes, that's correct.
So
Anyway.
SpongeBob is cooking, right? And he's using a spatula, cooking a burger as somebody would that isn't Alex. And then it turns into a jellyfish as he's cooking it.
Yeah, it like floats up into the sky and just kind of transforms suddenly.
Yeah. And as it's flying out the window, we can see that the room SpongeBob's in looks like the Krusty Krab kitchen, but in a redesign.
Something, yeah. We all noticed that the room looked weird. And this is a dream, and we all know that.
Spoiler alert.
Well, we all knew this watching it. We were all like, okay, this is obviously the daydream that starts the episode. But
Yeah, like a
even
patty
then-
didn't actually become a jellyfish.
Right.
That'd be absurd in this cartoon.
It's yeah. It would. It's never happened. I don't
Yeah.
think. But it is like the room just looks a little bit different. Like the stove seems to be on the wrong side of the room. Although I think it does. I think that room always is kind of ever changing.
Are the connections for a stove the same as a fryer? Like, could they just switch them if they wanted to for no reason?
Interesting.
Like
I
Squidward was
wouldn't-
complaining about SpongeBob being too close to the window and they swapped him.
I have no idea how any of that shit works. I've never worked in fast food or anything remotely
Gas
close
line,
to it.
right? Do you
but
need a gas line?
I would think it would be. I mean, it's definitely gas for the stove.
You don't think they use electric stoves?
Actually,
underwater?
no. It probably is electric because it's just that
like the
flat top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's cheaper, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gross.
it's true, right?
It's probably like handmade.
I don't know how French like deep fryers work. I have no clue. I imagine there would be gas involved, but maybe not.
Yeah. So this may or may not be possible, but they did rearrange everything.
Everything's a little bit different
Yeah.
than what we're used to. The stove is on like the far wall, and the French fry fryers are like right where the window would be. But there's not even a window in this dream sequence. There's no order window.
Right. But there's a window on the backside.
Yeah, leading to the outside world, which is
Yeah.
where the jellyfish flies out, and then the rest of the patties on the grill start to change into jellyfish as well.
Also, I noticed the door has no handle. There's like a door leading.
Oh my
To the right.
gosh,
It's just a weird thing.
that's so fucked up.
Yeah, there's just a lot wrong. The stove has a hood, which it actually does, but I don't think we see it a lot.
Yeah, I don't think that was a thing until this episode.
Yeah. Anyways, they all get up and they fly out the window.
Yep. And SpongeBob as well begins to levitate and flies out the window.
Yeah.
As
a jellyfish. He turns into a jellyfish.
Well, no, he flies.
Right?
He flies out as himself.
Oh, that's true. He
and then
backflips and then he goes out.
He transforms once he's already in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And he becomes. He literally just looks like SpongeBob if he were going to be a jellyfish. Like he's yellow and he's still got holes on him and stuff. But he's a jellyfish now.
Yeah.
And
he's loving it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
He's super. He's stoked. He's happy to be free. Like he feels this. He feels this freedom. So, eventually, Mr. Krabs interrupts this daydream
and
punches him in the face. Just kidding.
Got you guys. You thought he just punched him with his big meaty claws. But no, he's actually just yelling at him, and it turns out SpongeBob is in the kitchen and he's burning the patties on the grill, and there's smoke everywhere.
Yeah, it's basically on fire, or it's about to be.
Yeah, and he lets him know, bro, you're gonna burn down the whole place.
Yeah, bro, this is my livelihood. Can we?
Yeah,
can we cut out the daydreaming?
So he's not saying it out loud, but he's kind of making it seem like, hey, get over here and we'll take care of this fire. So how does SpongeBob do it? He runs up the ceiling and all the way to the other side of the room where Mr. Krabs is. Runs through the smoke on the ceiling and runs down. Very dramatic as always.
And he asks Mr. Krabs, what do we do about this fire? And,
it's take care of it, boy. Gives him a fire extinguisher.
He uses it like I would. Just throws it right at the fire.
Yeah, and it hits the grill and falls down.
Just chucks it right at the grill.
Yeah. Super strong in this episode.
Yeah, right. That's like a feat of strength for SpongeBob right there.
So then as it drops down, it hits the grill and falls down. We see SpongeBob all happy, He's thinks he did a good job, but then it all catches on fire.
Yeah. What do we have? The fire truck.
Yeah.
The fire truck shows up.
Yep. And a firefish comes in.
A firefish, indeed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a cool thing.
He fights fires though. He's a firefighting fish.
So he comes in with his hose and he starts.
He's like the Godfather in early WWF. He's got all his hose with him.
Oh yeah. But also, he brings a hose to squirt water underwater, which is pretty silly. Also, there's a fire underwater.
I have to tell you something, but you have to cut it out. My mom was actually in the Ho train.
Yes?
What?
Yeah.
We have to cut it out?
Yeah.
We're not cutting that out.
Do you have any video evidence of it?
I'm sure my mom has pictures.
Oh man, that's so
what
cool.
What the fuck? That's crazy. That's actually really cool. That's
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, that is super sweet.
Your mom was a hoe.
I'll get her consent. She'll probably say okay.
That was so cool though.
Yeah,
that you just made the wrestling reference, and what was the odds that she was gonna know what that was? Mm-hmm. And then she also has a story to go with. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
good times here at the Striped Sweater podcast.
Yeah,
as per usual. And anyway, so the fireman, he's got his hose. He starts squirting it in the general direction of the fire, which SpongeBob is standing in front of at this time. And SpongeBob, being a sponge, absorbs the water.
So none of it actually touches the grill. It all just hits SpongeBob.
Right. And they're just squirting him until he just inflates to this giant size and falls over by, his own weight, brings him down onto the grill, thus putting out the flame.
Yeah, and then not only does he put out the flame, but it also shrinks him into a very tiny size.
Yes.
And he's all charred, and he's just laying on the grill on his back.
And Mr. Krabs comes over and scrapes him off
with a spatula.
And he goes, he's like, come into my office. We got to
because
talk.
There's a door that leads to Krabs' office from the kitchen.
Yeah, which
that's
is
never there.
Not
before.
A normal thing, but in this episode, it's a thing.
He's probably very into construction. He probably just makes doors and takes them down just willy-nilly.
I highly doubt it.
Just all Willie Nelson.
That it's Mr. being that it's Mr. Krabs,
it saves us time from having to watch them walk around the cash register to get to the office.
Basically, right? That's what it is. And so he brings him into his office to talk to him about, things aren't really going so well right now.
Yeah, this is the 4th time that I've had to scrape you off of something.
Yeah. And SpongeBob says he's been thinking. Mr. Krabs is like, well, we need to get you thinking about work. And his eyes like come out onto, they like stretch out into SpongeBob's face.
Yeah.
And then SpongeBob is like, yo, like, no offense, Mr. Krabs. I've just been thinking about giving up my cold industrial life in favor of a more natural and free life among the jellyfish.
And it's so funny, right, that we get an exterior shot of the Krusty Krab, and you can still hear Krabs laughing. It
Indeed.
like pulls out, and he.
Right.
It's so funny that he would do that. He would leave this probably low-paying cook job to go into the wild.
Right. Krabs is, it's just a big joke to him. So SpongeBob takes this personally. And decides he's going to walk off the job, which is like super crazy to think about.
Yeah, because he's kind of, Krabs is insulting him, right? He's like, this is your nature. And they like go back in the kitchen and he's like, this is your stuff.
Right. This is where you belong.
Yeah.
But SpongeBob, he's not having it.
Right. By the time Krabs looks over, SpongeBob's gone and he threw his hat on the ground.
Whoa. And it's just weird because SpongeBob, I mean, we see in later episodes, he's like crazy, crazy loyal to the Krusty Krab. So it's like,
and the apparel, the uniform.
It's true. So it's just strange that he'd be so willing to give it up. But he's had this thing on his mind, this idea of living freely with the jellyfish has been on his mind, and it's weighing on him, clearly. So he walks off the job, and he's already decided he's going to give all of his stuff away, to his friends. He doesn't need it anymore. Like, he's going to go live his natural life.
Right.
So we cut back to the gang's houses, and they're outside. SpongeBob is going to give his can opener to Squidward.
Right, because he needs the can opener the most.
Well, what I'm thinking is who's going to take care of Gary, and how are they going to open his food?
They do never touch on what the heck is going on with Gary. That's an interesting.
SpongeBob really must not have put a lot of thought into it. Like, he wants it, but he doesn't really, because he would definitely have a plan for Gary if this was for a long time.
But I guess that does make sense. I mean, Squidward is probably going to take care of Gary.
It actually looks like he's just getting rid of trash that he doesn't need, but he's making it seem special to people.
Right, because for Patrick, he gives him a...
But wait, when Squidward takes the can opener, right, he's like, I thought this friendship would never pay off. Like, this is what he gets for being friends with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Finally gets something out of it. That's
Finally
not pain.
admits that they're friends.
And yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah, I think he's being sarcastic, too.
Well, yeah, for sure. But
he did call him friend in a previous episode.
Naughty Nautical Neighbors.
Yeah.
So he admits it.
Yeah, and he calls Patrick and SpongeBob both his friends in that episode.
Yeah.
Because they, like, save his life.
That's what you do to people that save your life.
So Patrick is outside of their houses as well, and he's all upset, tearing up and what have you, and he's like, are you sure you want to give me this mayonnaise?
Yeah, of course. Who else would have it?
Which is not Patrick's.
Are you sure you want to give me this mayonnaise?
Squidward, I want you to have my can opener.
And I thought this friendship would never pay off.
Are you sure you want to give me this mayonnaise?
It's all yours.
But these old phone books?
All yours, old friend. Patrick, there is one more thing I want you to have.
Reliable!
Patrick, there's one more thing I want you to have.
And it's not a piece of garbage like
This
the
is
other
pretty,
stuff he just gave
It's
him.
pretty serious what he gives him next.
It has a case. And
It
he
catches
opens it.
jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it sure does. And when he opens it up, it shines like the Pulp Fiction case, which that's like the 5th time we've made reference to the Pulp Fiction case in this show, which is funny.
Revolutionary movie.
It really was, yeah. But yeah,
it's old reliable. The jellyfishing net.
It sure is. Old reliable.
Yeah,
There's
old. Not
no,
old.
There's no D on the end.
But old.
Yep.
And then Sandy's there too, and she's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And he like starts like tapping on her glass on her face, which I'm sure is super annoying based on the fish from my childhood aquarium.
Yeah.
It is funny that she lives with fish and now she's getting the fish treatment because he's actually tapping on her glass.
Yeah,
so he's
right.
like, "Oh, Sandy."
She's like a fish out of water in their world, basically.
But she's the only one who's not actually in the water.
A squirrel out of land, if you will.
Yeah. Landy. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I remember when I lived that sham of a life I once lived that you're going through."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, you dumb squirrel."
I know,
Which-
it's weird that he's got like that arrogance to him, like all of a sudden. He's like he's very sure of himself.
This
that he's gonna be
episode,
fine.
yeah, he's going through. This is like teenage SpongeBob rebelling.
Yeah.
He's like, "Who needs this job? Who needs these friends?
Yeah, right.
Who needs these pants?" Even.
And then he's walking away. He walks behind a life plant. Yeah. And he takes off his pants so as to obscure his genitals.
Yeah, but now that he's a jellyfish, doesn't need pants and can have free hanging genitals.
And we get a great line from Squidward as SpongeBob frolics off.
He just kind of gives commentary to the situation.
Yeah.
He just says,
I won't be needing these. Buzz, 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 buzz.
He took off his pants.
I'll give him a week.
I'll give him 11 minutes.
Patrick said!
I'm home.
This is funny because Sandy goes, "I'll give him a week," and then Squidward says, "I'll give him 11 minutes," which is apparently a reference to the runtime of an average SpongeBob episode. Is 11 minutes
I didn't even
long.
think of it.
So it's kind of funny. Like,
this
will be resolved within this episode. It's almost like a weird. It's almost like a fourth wall breaking thing, but it's really not. You don't think of it that way. But the writers.
But Squidward
wrote
has
it in.
broken the fourth wall already. Right? When he was like checking himself out in the mirror at the bubble bath.
Oh,
and then he
looks at
put
the
it
camera.
away when the camera was there.
Yeah, right.
You know?
He is aware that he's on a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
So, he does that, and then everybody disperses, and then it's just Patrick left, and he just goes, "Patrick said."
Yeah, he can't even, like, talk like a regular human being. He's so upset.
Yeah. And then next time we see SpongeBob, he is in...
Jellyfish Fields.
Right, which is now...
his home.
Of course.
Forever.
Yep, and he decides to let it be known by singing that he's home.
Yes, he says it over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, and he's also saying buzz too.
Yeah.
To
Buzz,
like fit
buzz.
in and be a jellyfish.
Because that's what jellyfish say.
They buzz.
As we've explained, and we'll see later here, the jellyfish in this is more like a bee mixed with a cow.
Yeah, these are like bees in this episode specifically. But yeah,
they're bees and cows.
Yeah.
Which is what we said before, but it's like really spot on as we keep seeing them.
Indeed. And they're also kind of like butterflies in the sense that you catch them.
And whatever animal does raves.
Yeah, I guess, right? Yeah, whichever animal enjoys raving the most.
Right. So he's like hanging out with a group of jellyfish and they're flying away because they're fast. And he's just trying to keep up. He's like, "Oh, I guess we're going to go over here." And then they all go into a beehive on a tree.
Yeah.
Right? Because apparently they also have jellyfish hives.
Right. They can be milked for jelly or they can make their own jelly in a hive.
Mm-hmm.
Either or.
Yep. So they like fly in and SpongeBob's over there. He's like, "Hey, look, we're home." And then they all leave right away. It's like, "Oh, I guess we're going this way." 'Cause he lives with them, but he can't communicate with them.
Right.
But he does have the instincts, right? Because he sees them fly away, but he's like, well, and he licks his finger, Like, my jellyfish instincts are telling me to go. And he, like, puts his hand, like, in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And points the direction that they are.
Yeah.
So he does have instincts, and he's letting just the general audience know. Yeah. Right, but then he goes and they're eating grass.
Yeah,
as
right.
cows would do.
Yeah, that's true, right? And SpongeBob attempts to eat grass.
But the way that they do is they just kind of, like, float around it and, like, cut it. Kind of like the nematodes. Oh, well, no, they, like, sucked stuff, right?
Yeah, they suck and eat stuff.
Like the Godfather's hose.
Sure.
Sucking and eating stuff.
Wow.
So he thinks it's disgusting.
Yeah, the
But
grass.
I love the animation that they do when he like sticks his tongue out and like scrapes it
Yeah.
off of his tongue.
Like somebody scraping snow off the road.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
this chewed up grass.
He can't do it.
It's like, oh, it's great. Yeah, now they're in like a field and there's like a bunch of them. And he's just kind of like, buzz, buzz, hey, how's the buzz?
Yeah.
Or what's the buzz?
Hey, what's the buzz? And he goes to shake a jellyfish's hands, or a hand, I should say. And he even
It's not
introduces.
really a hand.
Yeah,
His
a tentacle.
Jiggler.
Yeah, right. His jiggler, and he introduces himself as Jelly Bob, and says, "And you are?" And then the jellyfish. I guess he does attempt to shake his hand.
Yeah.
But
Like, what else? What do you think? He's just holding a limb out, and he's like, oh, okay. Zap that.
yeah, he zaps him, and it's a really good. This is good animation too, where his hand like puffs up
Yeah.
and it's all red. for
Like
a minute.
actual jellyfish, right? If you touch them, you don't get zapped, right? They have to like do something to make it zappy, or is it just touching them
No,
in general?
I'm pretty
does?
sure you will get zapped if you touch them, regardless.
Right.
Even if they're alive
So,
or dead. Even
yeah.
if they're dead, you can get
So he
stung.
couldn't even. It's not the jellyfish's fault. He's really just touching it.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm not an expert,
Yeah,
but yeah.
That's how I thought it was too.
I'm pretty sure you can be stung by a dead jellyfish, so
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. But then, his hand swells up super huge and it's red and pulsing. But then he gets an aroma. You can see like little, it's like smoke, I guess. I don't know. But
Like,
it looks like an aroma is in the air.
Like food aroma, like when you would put a pie out on the window and like
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's really,
The
they just show
smell.
it by like having white lines
Right.
show what the wind
It's
would
just
be
like
doing.
smoke, essentially,
Yeah.
like and yeah, it fills his nostrils, and it's a scent that he likes.
Yeah.
So he goes to
and
check it out.
there's a lot of funny sounds in this too, because like as he's doing stuff, they do like these like wobbly noises. I don't even know how to like recreate them, but
Well, yeah, he's like all wobbling around.
yeah. But at this point, he looks over to where the aroma is coming from, and who is it?
Sandy and Patrick.
Indeed.
And they're having a picnic.
Yeah, they're having a picnic out in Jellyfish Fields. They've got the picnic.
The classic red and white checkered blanket. right?
Yeah, classic, so classic. And
Like Big Boy's shirt.
Yeah, and they
I
pull
just
up.
like a stack.
Yeah.
A stack
Yeah,
of Krabby
she pulls out
Patties.
like it's almost like a tray, or like a like a Tupperware. Like it actually comes up. It's not a plate, but we can see that there's 3 stacked Krabby Patties.
Yeah, and they're steaming hot.
Yeah, and making a great smell.
They're giving off like Krabby Patty food farts, and they just
Yeah.
smell so good.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and then like Sandy and Patrick are kind of having a like an act to try to get SpongeBob
Right,
back.
it's a ruse.
Yeah, right. She's like, "Hey, Patrick, good time to have a picnic," type thing, and she's like, "Say your line," and he obviously is terrified. Like he's just still sad over the whole thing.
Yeah, he's upset and nervous and whatever. He wants his friend back so bad, and he's just like he's trying to go through with this plan that obviously Sandy came up with.
Yeah, and he's reading it off paper and crying.
Yeah, and he's even reading his like lines like
Take Patty.
yeah, and eventually he says take bite as well.
Right, but then he just can't bring himself to take
He
the bite.
He can't take the bite, and he breaks down and he's like, SpongeBob, come back, you know.
He like breaks the scene, right? Because they're acting like they don't notice SpongeBob.
Right. They're fully aware that he's there, obviously. And SpongeBob tells Patrick he's not coming home.
It's like, but everybody misses you. Sandy misses you.
I miss you. Sandy misses you. Even Squidward misses you.
And then we cut to Squidward, who's having a party at his house.
Listening to a record. And
I like his shell record player.
Yeah, it's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like the kind of shells you'd put up to your ear to hear the ocean.
Or that, yeah, right.
You know?
But like used as like the gramophone style record player.
The phones that your grandma would have.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Grandma phone. Banana phone.
Ring, ring, ring.
Yeah, banana phone. That was classic.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Shout out to Albino Black Sheep. Did you guys ever go on that?
That sounds familiar.
That was where all the like old Flash videos were at first. Before like Newgrounds.
Before Newgrounds?
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Newgrounds has been around since like 1996 or something.
Or like E-Bombs World.
Yeah.
E-Bombs World was a big one.
I feel
too,
like for me, sure. Albino Black Sheep was the first.
I feel like, I don't know, I remember it, but not so much.
Classic. Early internet.
Yeah.
Back when you couldn't be on the phone and the internet at the same time. And now you can't have one without the other.
Like banana phone is I guess technically like a meme that is like, 15 or more years old now. Which is just crazy to think that there are internet memes that are like older than some children.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in. The internet is 30 years old as of last week. So happy birthday.
Yeah. So after Squidward's dancing, Sandy is dragging Patrick away from the area. Like, obviously this didn't work. Let's regroup.
Yeah.
We can't be here. And he's like holding on for dear life.
He loves SpongeBob.
And as do we. Yeah, now after he's dragged away, it goes to SpongeBob back trying to be a jellyfish.
Yep. Yeah, and he's thinking that he's getting the hang of it. He's like,
yeah, because his limbs are like all long and they're like wiggly. And he's like swaying from side to side.
Yeah, he's like, okay, and he's not getting stung, and he's hanging out with the jellyfish, so he thinks he's doing a good job. But at this point, Patrick shows up, like evil, scary psycho Patrick, and
he tries to swipe the net at him, and he moves. And then we see Patrick.
Oh, he says, yeah, okay, and he says...
And in the background sound, too, it's like... What are those things called?
A mobile?
Yeah. Yeah, right? Because it's like playing like creepily music, right? That's like what it sounds like.
I guess so, yeah.
Like he's
baby,
like he's an obsessive...
Baby type music,
he's
yeah. And it's giving that, that obsessive, scary kind of vibe to the whole thing.
When he says...
If I can't have you as a friend... I'm gonna make you a trophy. I even picked out this nice jar for you.
Patrick, go home. I'm a jellyfish now.
I even picked out this nice jar for you, and it's labeled SpongeBob friend.
Yeah.
To
separate him from the other SpongeBobs he has.
So he's going to keep SpongeBob in a jar if he is able to get his hands on him. Yeah. So that's that's psycho stuff,
But SpongeBob runs away and he like hides behind this like rock or whatever, and Patrick's like, you can't hide there, and he like keeps moving to different things, like he's in the grass, and he's like, I can still see you.
Yeah, and right before that though, right as SpongeBob walks away, we get Patrick lifting the net over his head. This is definitely a Sand People Tusken Raider reference from Star Wars,
who you may remember from taking C-3PO and R2-D2, right?
You're thinking of Jawas.
Oh yeah, no, I am
not.
The Tusken Raiders tried to kill...
Yeah, and they're just called Sand People in the original films.
Yeah.
But that term was labeled derogatory later on.
Right. No, you're right. I was thinking of Jawas.
Yeah, you're thinking of Jawas, but that's fine. Same movie, same planet, Tatooine.
Yeah, exactly. It just comes a little before.
Indeed.
Those are the guys who try to kill Luke, right?
Who? The Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right.
So it's... Patrick is insane,
and
SpongeBob can't hide.
Right. He's trying to hide. Patrick is like, "Oh no, I see." He's all crazy, like, "I see you over there."
Yeah. So he like hides behind this big rock, and like it was funny because I realized that it had the same symbol as a snail, but then it actually is one. Like I
turns
forgot
out to be a
is.
snail, right?
Yeah, and it moves away. So there goes his cover.
So eventually, SpongeBob makes his way into the jellyfish hive, which there happens to be no jellyfish inside of at this point.
Right, and
which is lucky for him.
Patrick's just trying to jump up and catch it with the net, but he just can't jump as high as SpongeBob.
It's too high for him to get, and Patrick gives up, and before he leaves, he breaks the net in half.
Oh, we forgot the part where first SpongeBob is like behind an arch, right? And he's like got his hand on it, and he's like exhaling a sigh of relief, which is like a meme. Yeah. Okay. And then he's like, "Whoa, I'm good." And then it points up, and there's Patrick making this really creepy face. That's also like a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he like tries to fall on top of him to catch him, and that doesn't work. And then they go to the hive.
So they're in the hive, and SpongeBob is hiding in there. Patrick can't get him. He gives up, and Patrick says, "Okay, so this is the way it's going to be. I hope you're happy." Breaks the net in half and walks away crying.
And as he was chasing him earlier, too, he was yelling, "Friends forever, SpongeBob."
Yeah.
Super crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's just, it's like Psycho Patrick. It's funny.
But now he's done.
Yeah, he gives
presumably broke the gift that was given to him.
Just like his spirit.
Yeah. And then SpongeBob's in there, and he's like eating the jelly.
Yeah, he starts to eat this jellyfish jelly.
Because why not? He's one of them.
And he can't eat grass. He presumably hasn't eaten anything.
Yeah, so why not?
You should try smoking it.
You could probably smoke grass in Bikini Bottom.
If they can have grill fires, they can smoke grass.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't have lungs, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he must.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Who knows about sponges? Nobody.
Yeah, I think regular sponges have lungs, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So at this point, the jellyfish decide to return to the hive, the herd of jellyfish, the swarm, if you will.
Yeah, and they all like shoot into this little tiny
this little tiny hole, and they're in there, and he's like, "Oh, like what does he say? Greetings, comrades."
Yeah,
and
he's like, "Yeah, I'm just holding down the fort, you know."
Yeah.
And they're more like, "What the F are you doing in here?"
Yeah, as you would be, and they sting the shit out of him.
And I love this first scream. It's not like an ow, ow. It's a woo!
Greetings, comrades.
Classic SpongeBob scream.
Yeah.
Right,
he did do it in the hall monitor one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's done the scream a couple times at this point.
So yeah, obviously he gets out and he has to find somewhere else to live because they're stinging the crap out of him.
Yeah, so he settles on a nearby cave.
Yeah, and it's pretty deep, dark, and dank. For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The cave is dank.
Absolutely it is. And he's struggling to stay warm. He's got like a piece of seaweed that he can't keep over him. He's trying
he like
to
tucks
sleep.
it under his feet, but then his feet keep just like poking out and the seaweed flies up.
He's covered in stings, and what is it? He says something like, "Oh, being a jellyfish sure is great," or something like that.
Buzz. He buzzes himself to sleep, but he can't get to sleep because he's incredibly itchy.
And he has his socks on. You can't sleep with socks on.
Yeah. What is he? Like a serial killer?
So yeah, he notices.
Wait, he doesn't. Does he always sleep with socks? He usually sleeps with his shoes on.
Yeah, his socks and shoes.
Yeah.
Let alone just socks being on. I mean.
Yeah, that's
all makes
something.
so much sense.
That's something. So yeah, he starts itching himself a lot, and he remarks that he uncovers himself to show that there's these poison sea urchins all on his body. And
then this was a line that we would quote, like me and my friends quote it sometimes now.
Yeah.
Where he says, "Itchy, itchy, why am I so itchy?"
Yeah, that is a memorable line for sure.
Yeah. I guess one of the lines of the episode.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot, really.
I kind of like he took off his pants. I think
Yeah.
that's the most comedic line to me
Yeah.
personally. But yeah, itchy, itchy, why am I so itchy? That definitely is one that is memorable for sure.
Yeah.
He's all bummed out. So yeah, he starts to walk back.
Well, he's itching himself first. He
Yeah.
reaches behind this rock and he's putting himself up and down. You can really feel the itching that he's doing. He's getting in there.
It's pretty serious.
He starts squirming around on the ground like a
snail.
slug.
Yeah.
Like where he bends forward and then bends in the middle and goes.
Right, which will come back in a little bit. We will see someone else do that.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yeah, he starts to walk back through Bikini Bottom. He's all bummed out. He walks through the Krusty Krab.
He walks right up to the glass.
Yeah, he
full body touching it.
So he can see, and so he can see through, right? And just on a table randomly, there's probably 50 Krabby Patties just piled up on this table, not on a plate or anything. And it's nighttime, so
it's sundown. It's not completely night, right? But they are closed.
Yeah,
which would seem a little peculiar, but I mean, he as we said, he kind of makes the Krusty Krab, which I was wondering and forgot to bring up during the picnic. Who made those Krabby Patties?
Those patties? Yeah,
right. And now we can presume maybe before he left, he was like, "Hey, I whipped up a shitload of patties." And I put them on this table for you.
While I'm gone.
Could be.
Yeah, so if you need them while I'm gone, here's a bunch of them.
That kind of brings everything together, I guess.
Yeah.
That theory.
Maybe. Who knows? It's all gags.
It's just a silly thing, though, to see a pile of burgers on the table, not on a plate, and it's nighttime and the restaurant is closed. Mm-hmm. It's what? What are those doing there? So, and then he walks by the tree dome, and he's like, "Oh, Sandy." He's all sad. Mm-hmm. And then he's walking his way back to his house.
So we can assume that Sandy's house is on the way to his house from the Krusty Krab, which is also to the right side of the screen.
Yeah. Audience, well, you mean...
It would be audience left.
Yeah, audience left. So stage right is how that works.
Other way around. He walks audience right. Stage left.
He's
coming from
yeah.
Right. Zach's idea is given more leverage in this episode that it's on that side. I don't know why.
Right, because
I always thought it was on the other side.
There's no way he would walk by his house to go to Sandy's and then back to his house.
You never know.
But as he does walk
there could be long winding roads in Bikini Bottom. We don't know that for sure, Zach.
We'll have to play one of the games, the open world games, and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it is. That's in my brain. It's one of the games, Battle for Bikini Bottom or something like that, that the Krusty Krab is the other way. I think. I don't know. But that's in my brain. It's I swear it's on the other side.
You've been wrong the whole time.
But I've been wrong so far every time.
So as he's walking home, obviously he has to pass Patrick and Squidward's house, but he doesn't stop there and say anything.
Remark that he misses them.
To himself. Instead, he goes in the home. He walks into his house, and the lights are all off.
Yep. And lucky for him, because he's super bummed out, depressed about his dumb decision to become a freaking jellyfish. Luckily for him, his friends are all there waiting for him as the lights pop on, and everyone is like,
"Welcome home, SpongeBob!"
You guys are the best. I made a huge mistake. Please forgive me.
Quit your blubbering and have a Krabby Patty.
Don't mind if I do.
And I'll see you at work first thing tomorrow morning.
Aye, aye, Captain.
SpongeBob, do us all a favor.
Don't mind if I do. Ta-da!
Okay, that's enough.
Mr. Krabs gives him a Krabby Patty. which is thoughtful and nice of Krabs, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
and Squidward's like,
Do us all a favor.
yeah.
Put these on.
And he hands him his pants.
right, which we didn't even mention initially. That we kind of mentioned it, but initially they were like obscuring his genital area. But they eventually stopped doing that.
Right,
for a
yeah, they
while.
were like in scenes, it'd be covered by some nature.
But then it would like stop and it would just be like, there's nothing there. So it's
Yeah,
like, what? Who
except
cares?
holes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, except his holes, right.
Can't be afraid to show off your holes.
Of course, Zach. So
he like pulls up his pants and then his sleeves appear on his arms.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't actually like put it on like clothes.
Yeah,
It's just like
he pulls them up like they're like suspenders or something.
Yeah.
And
just
they
like
snap.
Yeah.
Right. Indeed. Group hug, and Squidward, of course, is the first to become uncomfortable with the group hug.
Could we please stop this?
Patrick Itchy!
It is great to be home.
then everybody is itchy as well, and they all get on the ground and they move around like slugs.
They
and
do the
stuff,
snail
too.
thing around in a circle.
Even
SpongeBob.
Gary. It's funny. Gary's just normal.
Just normally, his normal walking.
But SpongeBob's already used to it, so he's just like, it's good
Well,
to be home.
I
Or
guess,
did he give it to
yeah,
them?
he gave it to him, so now they're
so there's
all
none
off
on
of him,
Yeah.
and they're on everybody else, right?
Yeah.
The poison sea urchins, of
Right,
course.
of course.
The source of the itching. And that's the end of this beautiful episode, Nature Pants. Zach, what's your rating for this one?
This one's pretty good. I would probably give it a whole back's worth of itches. Not just
What?
like half, like the top part.
Like a
you know?
full back scratch.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty
Back
legit.
scratch fever.
That's pretty legit. Nice.
What about you?
I would rate this one like 8 poison sea urchins
Out of what?
out of 12.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
That's fair.
It's not regular weighted, obviously. 8 sea urchins is more than like 8 points out of 12.
Yeah.
It's
Obviously, you guys should know.
It's
it
all-
takes 2 poison sea urchins to become 1. So like for each one it's 2. So
Yeah.
Do the math.
Absolutely. Yeah. Math stuff. Yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Like I said, I was like thinking this one wasn't that good in my head. And I guess it's maybe not the strongest episode, but it's definitely not the worst, I don't think. But that being said, and I know that we say this time and again, but like really all of these episodes are good. Like there's not a single bad one. There's not one that I'm like, that one's just not that good. Like they're all fun. They all have something to offer.
I wonder if we will get to one where we're like, you know what? This is probably my least favorite one.
I'm sure it'll
Haven't
happen.
gotten there yet.
I don't know. Yeah.
It'd be hard to rank the ones we've already done.
It's hard to say, right? But I don't know. I know there eventually, especially like after the movie, I remember like, cause that's basically
for
when I
sure.
stopped watching. Cause it was just like, yeah, you know what? These just aren't doing it for me the same way anymore.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. We grow up and our tastes change and things change, and that's life, gang. Get used to it. Welcome to the real world, jackass.
Put that garbage in another man's face.
Sure.
It's a different part.
Yeah. But basically the moral of the story is
You can't trust the system.
it's true. But no, okay.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday to the ground.
Yeah.
Or Squidward.
Or
because the
Squidward,
next episode.
because here we are. It is opposite day. This episode also runs at 10 minutes and 47 seconds. Our storyboard artist was Jay Lender. Our storyboard director was Chuck Klein. Written by those two gentlemen, along with Mr. Lawrence. Animation director Tom Yasumi. And creative director.
The driest man in Bikini Bottom, of course.
Of course, he
Yes.
lives there.
Yeah.
He lives down there and he writes the show. That's how he
He-
knows how much is going on. He's just
There.
reliving his time down there.
And he's so dry somehow.
Yeah.
He hates getting wet.
He must be Sandy.
Yeah. Derek Drymon
Yeah.
is Sandy. Confirmed.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory.
So all of these episodes are from Sandy's perspective, reliving them.
Indeedy dandy.
So we open up opposite day with a red clam that crows like a rooster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
And it's outside of Con Street, like on the
Indeed.
other side.
Yeah, across the way.
Mm-hmm. And then we can see Squidward sleeping in his house.
Yeah, peacefully snoozing.
Yeah, he's laying under the covers, except for his nose, which is over the covers.
Yeah, right.
I didn't notice, but does he have his sleeping cap on?
I don't think so.
No, he doesn't have his cap on, I don't think.
Yeah, SpongeBob has a cap too, though, that he sometimes doesn't wear. He
He-
definitely didn't bring it with him to be a jellyfish.
Right.
And there's like noise, right? You can hear like something, and Squidward's like waking up. But then
Yeah, like
he's like, it's nothing.
You can tell it's SpongeBob and Patrick like whispering and giggling.
Yeah.
It's that's obviously what it is.
Yeah. But he's like, it's probably nothing.
Yeah.
Goes back to sleep. But it keeps waking him up until he pulls the covers up, right? And they're under the covers.
Yeah, they're both under the covers on either side of him, sandwiching him in.
Yeah. And do they have a cake too?
A birthday banner. I
Or a
know.
banner?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
They have a banner, and then
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because they sing a song, right? They do. I remember the song when it came out.
Yeah.
It's like happy birthday cake, right? Happy birthday, pin the tail on the seahorse.
Yeah.
yeah,
Happy birthday, happy birthday, Squidward.
And it's funny too because then they just leave, which is like kind of like
Yeah, and
Random.
they're like, oh yeah, and you can
They're
hear
like,
SpongeBob say, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do."
yeah, and Patrick goes another year older,
Yeah,
like haha,
and
this
he's
is
just
so
like,
great.
"It's not my birthday."
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
You probably could have said that a little earlier before they did all the
Right.
nonsense. But the whole time that they're like messing around, he like is annoyed.
yeah, and
Right.
I guess it's just the whole concept of like having your privacy invaded and having people come into your house without your knowledge
And being in your bed.
and being
Yeah.
in your bed and stuff. This is enough for Squidward. He's like, that's it. I'm moving,
Mm-hmm.
And so he calls up the realtor lady,
From Bikini Body Realty.
Bikini
Body.
Bikini Bottom Realty.
It's actually just Bikini Realty. I
Oh,
think.
Bikini Realty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bikini Realty.
Oh, right. That's funny.
I think Bikini Body Realty is what
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah. Body, as in short for bottom,
Yes,
It's like
right.
shorthand.
Bati.
Yeah. Like what you got on the body of that. But it means like bottom.
yeah. Yo, what's on the body of that thing?
Yeah. Oh, you hurt my body.
Let's see the body.
Give me a nice slap on the body.
yeah, Bati.
Yeah. So yeah, she's like, sure, I could sell your house, and she's got a nice picture of his house, but
Yeah.
it's not like.
How did she
a
get
regular
that?
one.
He called her up on the phone and faxed
Yeah.
her over a picture, I guess.
And it looks wide for some reason.
Yeah, it's a
So,
big wide shot of it.
Yeah. She's like, well, selling your house should be super easy unless you have like nematodes or your neighbors are horrible.
Yeah, troublesome neighbors.
Yeah. He's like, no, of course not. But then he's like, oh shit. In his head, he's like, I do have horrible neighbors.
I'm not
That's
sure.
why I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. This might be the first time we hear Squidward's last name. She calls him Mr. Tentacles. I'm not sure. It might be.
Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention.
I haven't
but I
either,
did think of
but-
that too, because
but-
everyone calls him Mr. Squidward.
Right. I think that's probably the first time he's given a last name.
But it cuts to him in his kitchen, and his fridge is like completely made out of bamboo. It's like
Yeah.
it also has a freezer on the bottom,
I like his kitchen. I would like to cook in it.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's a
He
cool
has
kitchen.
like I don't know, is that it's not an island, it's
no,
a
it's
peninsula.
a peninsula. I have a
Yeah.
peninsula in my kitchen.
Yeah.
So my kitchen is almost just like Squidward's.
Yeah.
Except my refrigerator's across from my peninsula instead of like connected.
Yeah. Do you keep it there just to remind you of Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're a peninsula.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Sometimes I forget. Yeah, that's right. We have two.
Also, Cedar
An
Point
upper
is a
and a
peninsula.
lower.
Right? Which you used to work at for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I like roller coasters.
Good times. Oh my God. Loved it.
Roller coaster.
Favorite
We
roller
all
coaster?
know.
Go.
Millennium Force. Classic.
I don't
fave.
even know what mine is actually.
I like the Maverick.
The
Yeah.
Maverick was hot when I went on it.
I
It
did.
was a long time ago though.
I've also been to like Dollywood. I assume you have too.
Yes.
I've been
They
to
have,
Dollywood
like,
also.
Yeah, they
You've
have.
been to Dollywood?
Yes.
They have
when I
that
was
one
young.
wooden roller coaster with like 3 loops in a row or something.
Oh
right?
really? I was too
It was
young
like-
at that
oh.
point.
It,
I remember
Like
there
the
was like
Tennessee
a
tornado or something.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I remember there was like a whitewater rafting ride. That's all I remember going on there.
The Dollywood water park is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they have
didn't go
some
to the
pretty
water
cool
park
like
part, I
water
think.
coasters there.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
than Cedar Point's water park.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It was like the eighth grade band trip. We went to this place, Geauga Lake.
Did you play the clarinet?
No, I play. That would be. I should. I wish I did, but no. I played trumpet, but yeah. I just remember, and that was like I had this friend who was like, "We're going on every one of these coasters, front row," and I was like, "Look, I've been on a couple in my life. Like, I'm not." He was just like, "No, front row, every one," and we did it. And after that day, it was like I love roller coasters. You know,
Yeah.
ever since.
When I worked on the Millennium Force. That was one of the rides that I worked on.
Nice.
Before the park
You
would
like helped
open.
build it?
No, unfortunately not. I would just test ride it in the morning before we opened.
It's a hard job.
It was tough life.
So hard.
So we would actually do these test runs. We'd call them standing test runs, where we'd do the seatbelt in the lap bar just enough to where it would, allow it to move, and we would stand up during the test ride.
And they told you to do that?
No, we just did
okay.
it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
No, we were just doing it to do it.
That's wild.
Sure. But that's pretty sweet.
You know what
get to do that.
always sounded terrifying to me was being on the dragster, but not going all the way over
and
and
it
going
coming
back
back.
down backwards.
Yeah.
That
And
is
how
like
embarrassing, right? You wait in line for hours, and then it's like, man, gotta try again. Just one of us
how
is too
embarrassing.
big.
You're just like in the car, just
Yeah.
this is
Everyone's
so
watching you
embarrassing, right?
laughing. Look, they couldn't even go all the way.
Fucking
Other people are probably gonna have to wait for so long.
It is a very long wait
Yeah.
for like 7 seconds of a ride, but
It'll break down like
it-
3 times.
it was
in
pretty
the middle.
fun when I went. I only went on it once, but it was really fun.
So then we also get to see, after we see Squidward's Peninsula kitchen, it like zooms outside of his house, and we see that his ears of his house actually have windows on the outside.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think they kind of look like gauges.
Very-
Except they take up too much, but
very-
it's just funny.
Very briefly, we see that, but yeah, it is like a funny thing that we both noticed. We were like, "What is going on with that? Why are there windows on the ears?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
then we see Shelly, right, inside of SpongeBob's
Shelly?
house. Riley pointed that out when
What?
we watched it.
I know. Yeah, great eye. Because I wouldn't have noticed it.
Yeah,
but that
'cause-
was Shelly.
SpongeBob is in his house sleeping, right? After this birthday extravaganza. Now he's sleeping. But we do find out later that this is actually really early in the morning. But he's sleeping, and he also has, like, you can see the chute that he, like, will go down. I don't know. Has he used it yet?
Yeah,
He had
for
the Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy one, but that's, like...
It's a different
that had
shoot.
like it came up out of the ground.
The jellyfishing one is what you're thinking of, where him and Patrick, they're like sliding down the ropes and shit. They both go through a chute, right?
Oh.
There's a round one and a square one, but yeah. they come up
right
and out like
but this
a
one's just
vent.
like in the floor.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually used that. I'm not sure.
So he's woken up by some loud noises,
Yeah,
Outside.
Squidward.
cacophony.
Yeah, absolutely. Good word. And, well, yeah, Squidward realizes that the only way that this is going to work is if he gets them to act completely opposite of how they normally do. So, opposite day. So Squidward is, his cacophony consists of like a big bass drum and like bagpipes and a whistle.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and I think there's even a cymbal too on it.
So we're
this,
to
like,
assume
weird-
that the bagpipes are being played without.
Right, I know,
going to
because
his
he's got the
mouth.
whistle in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, but anyway, he's making all this noise, and it wakes SpongeBob up, and SpongeBob,
It's like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you playing that?
yeah,
And Squidward's like, what do you mean? And he throws it all off except for the bass drum.
This isn't a drum.
Yeah, he punches a hole through it.
Yeah.
This is just my wig case. And he pulls out a wig and he puts it on.
Yeah, it's like a weird, like, Elvis
wig.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, because that when he first puts it on and he turns around, it's actually a bald spot in the back.
I noticed that too. It literally is just like a headband or something for your hair, you know, like.
And he like runs across him, and he's like, "Come on, SpongeBob, tackle me!"
Yeah, I always liked that because it's just like, what? Like tackle him? It's
My
just
uncle did
totally
that
weird.
once. He was so excited when we were watching the Lions. He like jumped up out of his seat and was like, "Tackle me!" He wanted me to tackle him through my cousin's picture window.
Oh my god.
As a joke, like, oh, if they do that, you know, someone's going through, and he like jumped up. That's like what it reminds me of.
What a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
He's like, you need help.
Yeah, immediately. He's like,
Yeah.
you need bed rest.
Yeah.
And
it's like, come on. He starts to like take him back to his house.
Push him along. Squidward is blowing bubbles, which is like one of the most favorite things for undersea life to do.
Yeah, and now he can actually do it.
Yeah.
Unlike the time he spent a whole episode trying to blow.
Well, see, they all learned in that episode, and then by Naughty Nautical Neighbors.
But he didn't do the technique either. He can do it without now.
Yeah, they all learned to do it without the technique.
It's like
by Naughty Nautical Neighbors. They're all blowing bubbles. Like,
it's like eventually Goku doesn't have to say Kamehameha. He can just do it.
It's exactly like that. And
he like stops him. He's like, "What are you doing, SpongeBob?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't you know what today is?"
I get it. You don't know what day it is, do you? And he's
Yeah.
like, Wednesday? And he's like, nah, dog. Opposite day.
And it's funny because that exact part is what made like a game when I was in elementary school. We used to play opposite day on Wednesdays, where we would, you know, say dumb things and call each other out for like, dude, you're not playing opposite day. Like, that was a thing. Did you guys do that?
I think that was a thing for me too.
We played opposite day.
That's definitely.
And we would do it on Wednesdays.
I don't know if
because of that.
But it's weird that you said that on Wednesday. That like, I feel like I remember that now that you say that.
But the teachers obviously didn't know. It was just the kids would.
Right.
We would just mess around.
I mean, we definitely played opposite day, but I feel like I even remember it being on Wednesdays too. That's like weird. I don't know. I don't remember that. But
I'm just wondering why didn't that catch on like now? Because there's a lot of places like my last job during like a spirit week on Wednesdays we wear pink, and I'm like from Mean Girls, and I'm just like I don't want to wear pink. I guess that would be my opposite day if I wore pink then.
Yeah.
Right.
Why, it's opposite day. You mean you've never heard of it? Boy, have you been missing out. Opposite day is the one day of the year when you get to act different. Normally, I'm stuffy and boring, but today I'm silly and spontaneous.
Does everybody know about opposite day?
Oh, sure. It's a game. Get it?
Oh, a game.
Yeah. Normally, you're really loud and annoying, so what are you going to be today?
Quiet and out of the way! Yay!
Yeah! Why don't you get a jump on it?
I hate opposite day. I'm not ready!
So long, chum. And goodbye, Bikini Bottom.
he's really into the idea. He's like enjoying it.
Is that here?
What we do?
Yes, this is about you to make it.
Yeah, it's opposite day, and he's running in, and he's like, wait, walk. Don't run. Because it's opposite. And then he's like, I'm gonna, and he's like, opposite. Trying
Right,
to think
and this
of
is
opposites.
when he's thinking of stuff. He like, he has like a weird. It's almost like a chirpy noise when he like bends over.
Yeah. We were wondering if that was like Shelly chirping for a second, but no, it's not.
And then when he like starts thinking, there's like or he gets like his realization. It's like a horn, like a clown horn type noise. It's pretty funny if you just think about it. It just blends in so well. But he realizes the thing he should do on opposite day is to go to bed.
Yeah, and that was obviously Squidward's hope that that's what he would come up to.
And Gary like meows. Probably it's like a worried meow. Like are you?
Yeah, like what?
Sure, what you're doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, Gary, where's your holiday spirit? And then instead of meowing, he gives one of these.
He woofs.
As a dog would do.
Yes.
But he's
which is
more
the
of a
opposite of me. I mean, that's like getting to a weird thing, but I guess dogs and cats are opposite, right? But it's like not really, but I guess they kind of are.
Didn't you watch Cats and Dogs?
Yeah, I get that it's like a tale as old as time, cat versus dog, but I'm just saying,
that's a different movie.
I'm just saying,
Beauty
like,
and the Beast.
how is a dog and a cat opposite? So it's like,
Because they're both
right.
animals.
so is like a
'cause
beetle
people are either-
opposite of an ant or
People
something?
are like
you know?
one or
It's
the
like-
other. You know, it's like, do you have a dog at your house or a cat? They're like definitely the two most common similar animals.
But what about pigs?
I'm sure
Some
there's
people
a
have
small. It's a much smaller.
Yeah.
Not when you get to Tennessee.
They are, yeah, no, I know. I mean, I know it's like a growing population of pig owners out there, which
If
is
you
cool.
have a pig,
I think it's
send
great.
us a pic.
Yeah, we'd love your pig pics.
Your pigs.
Yeah,
A
just
picture.
just pig.
Your pictures.
Pictures. Oh man.
So yeah, then there's a knock at the door, and Patrick's at the house.
Yeah, it's Patrick, and he's like, "Oh, company. I hate company."
Yeah, company. Oh,
I hate company.
he's just knocking, and he's asking who it is, and it's Patrick. And he tells him, "Go away. I never want to see you again."
And Patrick is very emotional in both of these episodes because he immediately is like, he doesn't like me anymore, and just starts crying, and it's like face down on the ground, like he's like, "That's right, you're my worst enemy."
Yeah, he's just adding, like, just making it worse.
Yeah,
Because obviously he doesn't understand that it's opposite day.
Well, right, because it's not opposite day. You know, that's just something that Squidward made up. But
I know.
he did tell SpongeBob that everybody knows about it. So
he didn't want to be missing
but
out.
Patrick does not know about it. So
yeah, he says,
Opposite day? Hey, I've heard of that.
You have?
No, what is it?
that's a great line.
yeah.
Probably one of the top lines of the episode, in my opinion. It's just funny. He's like, "Well, what is it?"
He's like, you just do the opposite of what you would do. And he's like, all right, let me try. And then just nothing. Until he starts turning into a different color.
Right,
he's
right.
like turning blue.
He holds his breath. So he's like, "Yo, the opposite of being alive would be to be dead
or not breathing." He's like, usually I breathe, but now I don't.
I pretty much breathe
like,
all the
Patrick,
time, but if I
stop.
just stopped, that would be opposite.
Yeah. So then he's like, no, we're going to do it like this. And it goes into like a montage of opposite day.
Montage.
Right? So there's like them dancing in the abyss with SpongeBob is pink and Patrick is yellow.
Indeed.
I like it when they blow themselves into bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go to blow the bubble
Like
and it
reverse
like
air.
it
Yeah,
blows
and
them.
Patrick pops and SpongeBob looks up like, wait, what does that
Did my
mean?
friend just
Yeah.
die? Like,
Yeah, they also do Gary is eating like in a suit at the table and they're like putting a fork in his mouth and everything. He's all fancy and they wipe it for him.
yeah.
And then it goes to SpongeBob eating Gary's food out of the bowl.
Yeah, so sloppily too.
He says meow.
He's so
and then
happy.
It's Patrick just sitting on newspaper. Meow. He's like so content.
Yeah.
Everyone's switching, and then they talk backwards.
Is that it? Yes, this is about you that they just...
But then when you reverse it, it sounds like this.
To get to the opposite side.
I give up.
Hey,
It's
Patrick.
almost like the
it's
sentence is talking backwards
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Besides just the words. Because then at the end of the sentence, which would be the beginning, he says, "Hey, Patrick."
And then Squidward's like, it's nearly noon. Like, I wonder where the realty people are. So all this has happened. The waking up in the bed.
Yeah.
The birthday, throw out, the calling, the opposite day,
Yeah.
the montage, all before noon.
Yeah, it's probably been a few hours of SpongeBob and Patrick just doing opposite things at home, right?
Yeah. On a weekend because they're not at work.
Well, it's Wednesday.
Oh, shoot. I wonder why it's closed.
What, the
Because
Krusty
it's
Krab?
opposite
Yeah.
day.
That's probably why.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah. Everybody plays. Except for the realtor.
Yeah.
But
They're
she's
always
not here
working.
yet.
So, right.
Yes. Squidward looks out of his house. He's like, good. No one's like ruining anything.
Right. He But then
jinxes
himself though.
Yeah, because he hears some like destruction.
Suddenly, SpongeBob and Patrick have just destroyed SpongeBob's house, like tore the roof off, and like furniture's outside and shit. Like,
Yeah.
and
then
it's
the
like,
classic,
oh man.
the classic line that I remember where SpongeBob just looks up and he
Hello,
goes,
Squidward. Goodbye, Squidward. Aw, it's an opposite day. Terrible. Ah!
Because he's like just so happy, and he thinks like Squidward's like still playing along and having fun with it too, when he's definitely not at this
Yeah.
point.
and then Squidward's like, no, I hate you. You're
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
you're
you're
the worst
terrible."
neighbor in history.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, and SpongeBob thinks about it. And he's like, wow, that's the nicest thing Squidward has ever said to me.
Which actually means it's the meanest thing.
Right. It's so it's
It's a
interesting.
double negative there.
Squidward face palms and
Yeah, he's like, obviously somebody can't try to sell a house when the neighbor's like destroying their house.
yeah, literally.
So they're crazy. So what would a sane person do if their neighbor was destroying their own house? Obviously, he would get in his bulldozer and bulldoze all the garbage
Clean
out
it
of the
up
way.
and start rebuilding.
Yeah.
But before that, Patrick, we have another good line where,
Isn't it beautiful?
On opposite day it is.
and that's when Squidward comes by. He's like, out of the way.
It reminds
It's
me
all-
of the episode Home Sweet Pineapple where he was like, they built SpongeBob's house, and he was like, see, I wish I lived there. He's like, really? Nah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a similar thing.
Yeah. Also him saying no, like comedically being like, isn't it this? And then it's like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. And at this point, SpongeBob is like, I don't get it, and he goes on this big spiel about, he's
Yeah,
trying
he's
to
doing the
figure out.
math.
He's trying
He's
to
doing
like
his Steiner math,
mathematically figure out what is going on.
setting off the sirens because SpongeBob's tired of your fat asses.
Yeah,
But Scott Steiner's really bad at doing math.
yeah,
If you take Patrick's 33 and 1/3% chance,
I don't get it. I made my house a mess, which was making it clean, which made Squidward clean my yard, but that really means he's messing it up. But the opposite of clean is filth, which means filth is clean. That means Squidward's really making my yard a wreck, but I'd normally wreck my own yard, which means Squidward's being the opposite of Squidward, which means he's SpongeBob. Aha! I understand everything now. I must be the opposite of SpongeBob by being...
Squidward.
Hey, I want to be opposite too. Yeah, finally, yahoo! I'm Squidward.
and he ends up like, he's doing it with his hands, and he ends up like wrapping his hands around each other, and eventually it's all around himself too. But
He's
then
so
he's
flexible.
yeah, then he's like up in a knot, and he's like, oh, I get it. He does like
Yeah.
the John Cena hand pose.
sure. Or the Dudley Boys.
Yeah. Or the thing where you punch people.
I always thought that. yeah, that thing. Or okay. That I always
So
thought
many
that
uses.
was. I always thought that was lame that John Cena did that, because it was like, that's the Dudley Boys thing. Like, why
It
is he
kind of was.
literally doing the Dudley Boys thing? Like
Well,
exactly
his is
how
a circle.
they do
The
it.
Dudleys was a D.
Yeah. I mean, but no, he literally does it. I think the exact same way, like that.
Yeah.
It's not like. I guess how else would you do it? That's the only way you can do it.
So yeah, he understands the math. It makes sense. SpongeBob has to be Squidward. It's the opposite.
And
we didn't even say yet, but Squidward's wearing like a painter's
Yeah,
gear.
yeah,
It's
to-
like a hat with a shell.
to rebuild SpongeBob's house, he puts on
Yeah.
like an apron and
Well, it's
a
like
hat.
overalls.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Got
overalls,
some
right?
work bibs on.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but his shirt's still on underneath.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good look for Squidward. And obviously he's knows how to rebuild a house. Like he's a pretty handy dude.
Yeah. But
and-
SpongeBob's like, I gotta be Squidward, and he pulls his nose straight down.
Yeah.
And then he grabs a belt, ties it around the middle of his face,
He pulls
and tightens it.
He pulls his belt off of his rips
right.
it off of his own pants
Yeah.
to put around his body.
so that he'll have like a circular shaped head.
Yeah. And I guess it also maybe helps with the voice. I don't know. I kind of took it as that way because he puts it on and then that's like the first time he sounds like Squidward.
Yeah, and Patrick's like, he also wants to be Squidward.
SpongeBob grabs like a piece of coral off the ground and just sticks it on his face. And he's just like, yay. And then he
Squidward.
does, which is super memorable part of the episode
Yeah.
where he does his classic little ditty,
Especially the comedic
titled,
timing.
I'm Squidward.
Because he does the like, I'm Squidward, 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 Squidward. And then SpongeBob's like, it's not enough to look like Squidward. You gotta act like him too.
We get my little name I gave myself at the beginning of the episode.
Boy, oh boy, do I like playing the clarinet. I practice and practice all day long, but I never get any better.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like SpongeBob, it's like another time that he's straight up like being like
jerk.
He's straight up acknowledging the fact that Squidward is not good at the clarinet, which is just kind of not like SpongeBob to do. But,
yeah. Not openly, but Squidward can't tell, and it's all good fun.
Yeah,
and actually,
it
it's
is.
opposite day, so
it
maybe
means
he
it's
believes
good.
that. Yeah, maybe he believes it's good.
Yeah, I guess it's. Oh man, layers.
So then
Just like an ogre.
he's like, now you try. So Patrick's like gonna do his Squidward impression, and he takes a deep breath. He's like, and then he just keeps doing the I'm Squidward thing.
Squidward.
And then the best part is SpongeBob just joins in too and goes back to his normal voice, and they dance and they're
then,
being Squidward together.
And then they go over to Squidward's house, and SpongeBob opens the door, and he's like, "After you, Mr. Squidward."
Why,
Thank you, Mr. Squidward.
Yeah, that's when we first hear Patrick actually do the voice.
Yeah, and he doesn't do it as good of a job as SpongeBob.
Right, but it's funny. And then we see Squidward hasn't even been looking over what's going on.
He's so
like,
focused, right, on that
Yeah.
work.
He's like, next time I should tell him it's go jump off a cliff day.
It would have been better. It would have been
Yeah.
probably a better situation for him. But
But now
anyway.
he's stuck in a Buffalo type situation.
Oh, absolutely. And
Because who's there at the door now, or at the house? We see the truck pull up for the Bikini Realty person.
well, yeah,
right?
she's driving a pink boatmobile, which I thought was funny because it's pink. And it says
Yeah,
Bikini Realty.
pink
on the
cars are
side, and
always
I don't think
hilarious.
you see them very often in the show. A pink boatmobile.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They're usually white.
Yeah, or like with red or blue or something. On the bottom.
So
But
they
yeah.
like, she gets there, and SpongeBob like lets her in, and he's still doing his Squidward impression. He's really doing it.
Yeah, and he's just owning it. Like he doesn't know who this lady is. He doesn't know that she was on her way or anything. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, please come in." You know.
Yeah, and she's like,
She says, "I pictured you being much taller." He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, everybody says that."
Yeah.
Like he's just going along with it totally. Like
And it's funny too because Squidward just has a bunch of portraits of himself. In
yeah,
the house.
as they're walking, you just see a bunch of different ones of him.
it's true, right? And
That's all he ever paints.
Yeah.
So far, that's all we've seen, right?
I think that is all he ever paints. Like,
there was
probably.
this one that I noticed. It was like it almost looked they were mug shots. There was like facing
Yeah.
this way and this way and
Oh,
this
wow.
way.
I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Squidward is so weird. That's like we get a weird glimpse into his psyche by looking at his paintings.
Yeah, he's super self-absorbed.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is funny because SpongeBob's the one who absorbs.
The absorbent one.
Yeah. So she's like, well, tell me about some of the nice things in the house. And he's like, nice, opposite day. Well, the floor creaks, the roof leaks. There's a terrible draft. Yeah, the winters are harsh, the summers are brutal. And there's a wild man eating clam in the backyard.
Yeah, and at that point, she's already like, I'm not sure if I'm interested.
Right, but
And-
she's not too worried because she's not a man. The clam only eats mans.
Oh, right. Mans? It only
Yeah.
eats mans
Yeah,
with an S on the end. M-A-N-S. That's a word.
mans.
My mans. My main mans.
And she also does remark about how nice this painting is, though.
Well,
She's
yeah.
like,
He takes him to the worst...
The worst
SpongeBob
room-
takes her to the worst room in the house. My gallery. And she's like, yeah, of course. She's like, oh, this painting is very nice.
and then
it's-
she's like right next to it.
Yeah, and then Patrick busts through the painting to reveal himself.
Yeah. What? Thank you.
Yeah,
And
right.
she freaks out.
Yeah, she like jumps up and she's like hanging onto a rafter on the ceiling. Like she gets so startled.
Yeah.
And
And she's like, who the heck are you?
yeah. And SpongeBob's like, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Squidward.
So wait a minute. You're both Squidward?
I'm Squidward. He's Squidward. We're both Squidward. It's so good.
And then Squidward realizes, right, at this point, like, the lady's here.
Yeah, we cut
And,
to
oh,
Squidward,
geez.
and he's like, "Okay, I'm all set." And then he sees the thing, and I think we get the music of like the da-da-da, da-da-da. It's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
Like-
it's dramatic sounding.
Yeah, yeah,
But then it cuts back to the inside of the house, and SpongeBob's playing the clarinet for the lady, and he's
Yeah.
doing a really bad job.
playing a little ditty for her,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Okay, I really don't want to hear another one."
He's
Okay.
like, oh, yeah? Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah,
And
and,
just
she's
keeps
like, "No,
playing.
really, please, like, no more, thank you."
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. That's so
it just
good.
keeps playing.
Because he's like, "Oh, it's opposite day. I see.
Yeah.
you really like this clarinet?"
But then they're interrupted by somebody barging in. It's Squidward. It's also Squidward. And he's like, what? I hope these two barnacle heads haven't, been...
I was gonna say, I think that's
problem.
the first time they use barnacle.
Yeah,
head
and
in
he
that.
says it like it's a bad thing to say.
Like he just called them.
These barnacle heads.
Yeah, like they're like sons of bitches or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And she's like, wait. Who are you? Oh, why me? I'm Squidward. And you can see all three of them like in the shot.
It's just funny too because he just looks at her and like smiles, like, "I'm Squidward." Like,
Yeah. He's just so innocent. Like, of
like
course.
he's just like trying to. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
guy who, you
And
talk to
then-
on the phone.
I really remember this line too, where she's like,
He's Squidward, he's Squidward, you're Squidward, I'm Squidward! Are there any other Squidwards I should know about?
Meow.
I'm out of here.
Ma'am, please, what about my house?
I wouldn't sell a house for you if you were the last Squidward on Earth!
Wait! Don't go! Ah! No! Please!
That's me hitting the line of the episode button. Not that we have a line.
I
of
do
the
have a
episode
that was
thing.
easy button.
So yeah,
Then are there any Squidwards she should know about? Of course, there's Gary with a pickle in between his eye stalks.
Meow.
Yeah, he even meows like Squidward.
I love that Gary was just there the whole time. Like
Yeah.
you never see him until this scene, but he was
and never
just
see
there.
him again.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, you're not gonna sell this house? I wouldn't sell this house if you were the last Squidward on Earth. And he's just yelling, wait. In the house, he's like, wait. And then one of them is like, don't. And the others, go. And they're like, so now they're finishing each other's things because they're all Squidward, all three. She leaves. She's not.
Yeah.
She's not gonna sell the
He's
house.
like, please, don't leave me here.
Yeah. And then they, SpongeBob and Patrick come out to meet Squidward, who's outside groveling, to tell him happy opposite day. We hate
you.
It's like, oh, well, why don't I show you how much I hate you? And they like kind of look excited, like, ooh, he's going to show us how much he loves us.
Yeah. And he's chasing him. He's hopped on the old bulldozer that he just has, apparently.
And this time we get to see the back of it, too. There's like a little propeller in the back. It's like a tiny one.
Yeah.
That's what's making this whole thing move.
Happy opposite day, Squidward! We hate you!
Let me show you guys how much I hate you.
Patrick, you ever feel that Squidward likes us too much?
Happy opposite day!
Actually a really good joke there at the end.
Yeah.
Squidward says happy opposite day, and that's the end of the episode. It ends with them being chased by Squidward, which is kind of funny because he's almost like on top at the end of this one. You know, it's almost always like Squidward getting shit on right at the end, of the episode. And he does to an extent because he doesn't get to sell his house. But
Sure,
then
but now he's like,
all right, I'm going to beat the shit out of you guys.
he's fulfilling his bloodthirsty rampage
Yeah,
that
right.
he's been dreaming
if
of.
I can't move, I'm just going to fucking kill you. Like,
Yeah. Then he won't have to move. Oh, man.
The suicide squid.
Suicide Squid, nice.
I think I would give this episode a 1 out of 100 on opposite day.
Oh, damn. I agree, Zach. That was a good one.
Yeah. Very classic. Very integral to my it would have been, I think, 3rd grade as well. 3rd or 4th grade when I remember playing opposite day.
Well, this episode would have come out when we were in 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you the exact same age as us, too?
Yeah, 92.
Okay,
Exact.
cool.
Exactly. Same birthday and all.
You were born... Well, we're not. We're very close.
I have the same birthday as you and you. It's just weird.
That's so
yeah,
weird.
we're all Squidward.
We are all Squidward.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been enlightening. Yeah. So, I mean, right. Yeah, we would have been 2nd graders when this initially aired. But, SpongeBob, I don't think really got big until maybe the next year. Like, real popular, Because obviously it wasn't like an instant classic, even though it was to an extent. Looking back on it now, but it wasn't like I've said it before on the podcast. I wasn't super crazy about it right away. It like took me maybe till season 2 to be like, okay, wait, this is awesome. I love this show. Like, it's great. But I don't know. It's hard to say. It's all just memories.
Yeah.
All alone in the moonlight.
Yeah. So that's been it for this one, but the next episode we're going to do is
I think it's fun and culture shock.
Yeah.
Culture shock and fun. Yeah. Which, holy crap, fun. It's like, get out of here. That's going to be
it's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah. Fun is very important to the show, I think. And like, that was really like, I remember, that's funny because I remember people like singing that song at school, and being like, whoa, we're like, SpongeBob is a part of life now. Like, it's something we talk about at school. And, it's like,
everyone liked this one.
Yeah. And Culture Shock is the talent show. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So next week is going to be one that nobody's going to want to miss out on. So all you
just like this one,
beautiful people
out
there who are, well, if they're listening to this, they already listened to the whole episode. So, I mean.
So thanks.
So, yeah, all of the listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. My name is Alexander Beardsley. You can find me all over the internet at Ashton Waganda, which is my alter ego, ASHTONWAGANDHA. And I had a great time with these 2 episodes. I look forward to the next episode. And thanks so much to our special guest for being here. And yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to plug? Any like handles or anything?
Yeah. So I actually do a lot of cooking and recently started gardening. So if you like to have a fun time and listen and watch me cook and garden, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's Riles Too Cold, RILESTOOCOLD. And then you can also hit me up on Snapchat because I'll post some videos on there. It's just R Langmeyer, LANGMEYER. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. So thank you so much for having me here.
I just wanted to say, Riles Too Cold, always been a very strong social media name.
Yeah, that facts.
It is good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And then me, Zach Main, Mystified. I always say the same things. So if you want to reach out to me, everything's the same. Totally rad _ Zach. Just plug those into random places and I'll pop up.
Yeah. You know, find us and hit us up. Write us some fan mail and give us some recommendations. And hey, nerds, those of you who I know it's the majority of you listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Like, seriously, just do it because it's good for the podcast. You'd be really helping us out.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be mean. I don't even care.
Tom is number one.
But Tom is number one in our hearts.
He goes by Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Sweet Thomas.
Thomas Smitty Warben Jaegerman Jensen. He was number one.
He was number one.
Yeah. And he is number one in our hearts still to this very day.
Number one on the field and number one in your hearts.
So
That's from The Rock. But you can also find us. We have a Facebook page for Striped Sweater Productions on stripesweaterproductions@gmail.com. We have a YouTube page where we also put our episodes and maybe other videos. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Striped Sweater Productions, the creators of the Striped Sweater podcast. Zach Main, Alex Beardsley, best friends and resident tough guys.
So, we only have one more thing to cover before we go.
Oh, that's correct.
We'll ask our guest a very important question.
Indeed. A question that transcends time and space.
It'll really tell the people the most they could learn about you
in
one small
answer. This is where we really get to know who you are, Riley. So I'm sorry. What would you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
I would spank him with his peg leg.
Wow.
All right. Strong.
Yeah.
Strong. I like it. Very good.
That's what he gets for being a drunken sailor.
What a
So
stupid
early in the
idiot.
morning.
I know, it's too early to be that drunk.
Yeah. Come on, guy. Come on, Peg Leg Jones.
All right. So, yeah, that does it. Thanks a lot for listening yet again. We will see you next Wednesday, y'all, or whenever you listen
Next
to
opposite day.
it. What? Oh, my gosh. All right, bye.
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 Love you.
Love you so much.